All right, so when unboxing any new spray gun, okay, you always want to clean it. Okay, some people overkill and clean it. Don't mind the noise next door. They're doing some renovations and stuff, and it's like pretty loud. Hopefully that's not too crazy for you, but let's just check out this spray gun here. It was like a $20 spray gun. You can see the finish on it, super low quality, very flimsy, whatever. It is what it is, but we're gonna basically just clean it really quick. I'll show you how to clean it. You take your cap off, okay. Looks like there is a little light coat of oil on it. And then what I like to do is I'll just get some lacquer thinner. I'll open the cup. I'll wet my brush like this, and I'll just clean the tip, okay. Okay, usually that'll do it. Close my cap, shake it a little bit, squeeze some thinner out. Okay, and then what I'll do is, you could take the needle out and just give that a little rinse. Okay, I think I will. You can see, looks a little dirty. I'll just wipe it. Okay, I'm not gonna bother taking that out. I think we should be okay. Okay, you push your needle in, put the spring back. Sometimes with these cheap guns, it's hard to get it screwed in like that. So anyway, we're gonna set this thing for a wide open nozzle trigger pull. So what I like to do is you back this out pretty much all the way, squeeze your trigger down, and then you tighten it. Once it touches, then you know. Okay, that's pretty much it. God, this is pretty horrible. Anyway, that's wide open. Okay, let's actually kind of clean this cap up. I should be putting gloves on. I will put gloves on in a bit. Okay. All right. God, it's so grindy and sandy and rough when you screw this thing together. Anyway, this is a 1.0, so I might have to reduce the primer extra. I know it's not going to flow out really well with this type of tip. There's no air orifices on the front of the cap here, just one on each side here. If we look at the difference with a more premium gun, like the X16, you can see we have 2 holes on each side. Okay, and then one at the tip of the cap right here next to the needle. Okay, so let's just rinse this out as well. I've used this before, it's clean, but we'll just rinse it. Okay. You could also notice, you can tell if you have a good gun or not by your trigger pull. If it's nice and smooth, okay, you know you got a pretty decent gun. Okay, this is very smooth compared to this. Very hard, and it's like grainy, very like rough when you pull the trigger. All right, so for the X16, I'm gonna kind of get rid of this cup, and we're gonna use the Quik cup system that you can get over at Zula.com if you want to try these kits out. Pretty cool. All right, so basically you need the X16, the mini spray gun adapter, okay? And this is like a plastic PVC type of material here. And you don't need to put anything on here. You could put plumber's tape if you want, but just by hand tightening it gives it a pretty good tight, to me, in my opinion. You don't want to overdo it because you're going to strip the threads, of course, because you're screwing on top of metal and plastic, right? But this is pretty much all you need to do. And then now, once this is set up here, you can see how it works like that. Now, of course, I got to put the cap on, but we're going to be using this cup system for this spray gun. Okay. And then we're also going to use this cup to mix our primer for both spray guns. Okay, so we're going to mix our primer here. I'm going to pour some in here for this gun, testing it out, and then we're going to use the rest for the X16 here. Okay. So if you have primer sitting for a little while, it tends to cake up at the bottom, and it kind of looks like this. You can see how it's kind of clumpy, but it's already getting thinned out. So you want to make sure you mix this up first. Okay, get the cakiness from the bottom out first, then you go ahead and mix it together. This is a 4-to-1 mixture. If you don't know, if you're confused about mixtures, just kind of take a look at what they give you when you buy it. If they give you a gallon and a quart, you know it's 4-to-1. And it tells you on the front here, 4-to-1. All right, so for every 8 ounces, we put 2 ounces of hardener. Okay, pretty much, pretty simple. We don't need a lot of primer here. We just have a few little glaze putty pieces. So I'm gonna pretty much just eyeball it. We're gonna pour it in the cup here. And if you use these cups, you can easily see if you want a 4-to-1 mixture, you just follow this 4-to-1, and then you could add 10 or 20% reducer. So we'll probably just go up to the 3, make a little extra here. So, and then we could reduce it. Just so it's always better to have a little bit more than not enough. You know what I mean? Especially when you're painting, your base coats or clear coats. So we're just gonna come up to the number 3 line here. Now that we came up to the 3 line, we're gonna wanna make sure we come up to this 3 line with our hardener, and then we can add our reducer. Okay, so we'll mix this in. Then we'll add our reducer in. I'm gonna switch over and get my gloves on in just a bit. Okay, I'm gonna teach you how to eyeball primer. Just because you could just basically mix it and see the consistency by how it drips off your stick here. So okay, we're pretty much mixed up by now. Okay, and I want you to pay attention to when the paint stops dripping. And just look how gummy it is. Okay, look how. Okay, it's kind of like gummy looking, right? And it's very slow. The drips are very slow. So we want to add reducer. So we have a medium base coat reducer here. We're just going to kind of add a little bit, mix it up, and then take a look at how that looks. And we're going to be reducing it a little bit extra because we're spraying out of a 1.3 and 1.0 actually. The other gun is a 1.0. Let me just kind of show you how that little bit does make a difference when reducing and thinning out your primers. Okay, you notice the drip's getting quicker. We have to add a little bit more. Probably adding like 20% reducer here. Let's see, we might actually need a little bit more than this. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Look at that drip. 1, 2, 3. It's pretty much dripping out where I want it to be. Take a look at the drip. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's not like super thinned out where it's dripping too fast. Okay, it has a good consistency to it. It's still thick enough to where it's not too thin. Okay, actually I think this is right on the money when it comes to spraying out of a 1.3, 1.4 tip. A 1.0, I don't know, we might have to reduce it a little bit more, but I'm gonna spray it out of the 1.0 anyway. because I don't want to reduce it more than I have to. Okay, so this is a perfect mixture for going out of a 1.3. So, you know, if you don't have a 1.8 or 2.0 tip size to spray filler primer, you could just reduce it down just like I did here with any 2K filler primer, all right? And you could basically just use a 1.3 or 1.4 tip. And I've been teaching this for over 10 years now. If you look at my older videos, keep in mind, I've been doing auto body for over 23, 24 years. It's actually longer than that. I just don't want to kind of disclose my age here. All right, so this is pretty much perfect. Again, if it seems too thick when it's spraying out, spraying dry, we could always reduce it a little bit more, but I think we're good. All right, so this is pretty much mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of my stick here, put it on the side. Okay, we're just gonna add some primer into this cup. Okay, because we're gonna be testing out this little spray gun here. All right, so let's quickly talk about what happened, shall we? So we sprayed with 2 spray guns. We did some primer filler on these body panels. First off, we had a little problem with the cheaper gun with the cap leaking, but I made it extra tight, and that seemed to solve the problem. I think it sprayed okay, you know, for being a $30 gun, cheap gun. I forgot what I paid, 20 or 30 bucks for it. But you can immediately see I didn't squeeze the trigger hard enough or long enough to run it here. So that came out, that looked pretty good and circular, right? But this was actually wide open fan. It's like literally like 1.5 inches. This was all like wide, this was wide open for that gun. A 1.0 should be a lot wider than that, at least double it as far as the fan width. This is literally wide open, okay? Here is the X16, bigger, okay? Smaller if needed, but I sprayed extra here, so it basically ran. But if we look up top here, this is wide open. So we got pretty much like a 6-inch wide open fan pattern on the Mini X16 spray gun versus a 1.5 inches, give or take, 1.75 inches for that. Very narrow. As far as spraying, I thought the cheap gun sprayed okay. The trigger wasn't as smooth. it couldn't get a wider fan pattern. You know, I actually liked spraying with the other one a lot better, of course. But it did work. And this is what it looks like, okay? We basically primed over all of our glazed putty spots, the areas where we kind of cut through on the corners here, right? Because you always want to prime those areas. In here, we did that. Basically primed everything. We primed all this. Okay, so now it's basically just sanding it and getting it ready for base coat. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about was cleaning. Okay, so we cleaned the gun. And take a look at it. All the paint is chipped right off on the first use of it. And as you can see, it's just, you know, pretty horrible. And screwing this on was even harder because it was the coating chipped off on everywhere. You know, so I mean, it is what it is. It's you get what you pay for. If you want a one-time use type of gun, then go look for a cheap one. But if you want something a little bit more you know, useful, if you want something a little bit more dependable, and I would say go for a high-end gun or at least a medium grade gun. For me, I like the Atom X guns. They work beautifully. They spray like high-end guns in my opinion, and you get more money for your you get more bang for your buck with these. So this is the X16. I thought it sprayed excellent. And it also comes with a GUNBUDD ultra lighting system, that light system that you see me use. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to get some auto body tips and whatnot, click the link right over here to download that 85-page auto body guide. It has links to other videos, other questions that you might have with auto body, or click the description down below to go to the website to get that free training. I think you're really gonna like it. A lot of content. We've been helping people for over 10 years on YouTube here and across social media, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. Anyway, we are one step closer to the paint job. All we have to do is prep that and paint it. So we are almost there. Tony here from Paradise Garage. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.